Hey, this is Straight Draw with the Playoff Holes series. So we're going to look at Tour 8 and specifically Grunberg Slopes, and we're going to look at how to play these playoff holes if you're using standard golf balls. And the numbers in the parentheses are the elevations that I'm using. And when there's two, that means there's two different ways to play the hole. Like on hole 3, you can either play the left fairway or the right fairway, and I'll discuss that a little more coming up. This is hole 3 on Grunberg Slopes. I prefer to go to the left anytime it's possible, and let's discuss this setup. So when I'm aiming, I'm going to put the white ring on the rough line, and I'm at max distance. And then I want to use 2 bars of topspin, and then I'm going to kind of aim it. You've got enough of a ball guide to kind of figure out your aim on this one. So that's the setup. And then if you haven't seen the straight draw 10 to 1 rule video, you should check that out because that's going to explain how I make this adjustment after the wind correction. There's 13.3 rings of adjustment because it plays 10% downhill. And now let me explain. So I'm a math geek and I can do some sines and cosines and kind of estimate those in my head. So I'm assuming that if you break this down into a vertical component, it's got about 10 miles per hour effective tailwind, and it's got about a 10 mile an hour effective wind to the right. Those are estimates, but they're close enough for the straight draw 10 to 1 rule, which explains why you'll see I back this bars of topspin down to 1.1 instead of 2. And I put a quarter ball of curl to the right. That's going to improve the accuracy on my second and third bounces, so I do get right up there on the slope where I was trying to hit. That's how you want to do it. If you roll up on that slope, it's pretty forgiving. It funnels a little bit down to the hole. Now on this hole, sometimes with a headwind, you have trouble because you're at max distance. So a headwind means you would have to overpower a sniper shot down the left side of down the left-hand fairway. So this is what I do on the right-hand fairway. If I have a headwind, I'll move up to my driver into this second little alcove, and I'm going to use a quarter ball of curl to bring it over. I can't hit straight at the pin and max backspin, and this shot is possible with a quarterback or the rock or the extra mile. It's very difficult with the Apocalypse, in which case with the Apocalypse I just guess and go down the left. So this one is actually about 15% downhill, but I was in the medium distance of my club, so that's why I adjusted just exactly the same number of rings as mile per hour for this club. All right, on hole 5, this is downhill about 30%, but it's medium distance of the sniper, which is 1.2 miles per hour per ring. So basically I'm adding 10% to whatever the wind number is. That's how many rings I'm going to use. So in this case, it's going to be about 6.7 rings of adjustment. And what you want to do is you want to aim the shot so that you're going straight at the flag, and you want to land within a yard or two of the fringe of the green. So you want this ball to bounce up and then roll back. And if you get directly on the opposite side of the flag from your tee shot, if you go straight through the pin, it'll roll back within a yard or so of the hole. So now here you're going to see a slightly different part of the setup. Here, if you notice, I'm going to, let me pause that. I'm going to leave room for the straight draw 10 to 1 rule. I've got this headwind to deal with, tailwind to deal with, so I'm leaving extra backspin to put on. I'm trying to leave about 1.1 bars of extra backspin. Well, you know, it's angled a little bit, so I want to leave about 1.0 additional bars of backspin to put on this to correct for the second bounce accuracy. So the same as before, I'm going to add 10% to the miles per hour. That's how many rings I'm going to adjust. So this is going to be 12 rings of adjustment. And again, you want to line this up so that your ball guideline is going straight through the pin. And that first bounce is very accurate. The second bounce, I'm off to the left a little bit. If you're not spot on, this thing is going to go either left or right, but that's how you want to play it. Everything funnels back to pin high. And one final shot here. Again, we're going to leave some room on the backspin here so that we aim. So this is the setup, right, that we're aiming. And then we're going to adjust. This would be 13.2 rings adjustment. And then we're going to go back and give it the whole backspin, right? So we had about 1.2 extra bars of backspin. And now we're curling to the left a little bit to help counteract that crossing wind that goes to the right. So our LZ is not quite as accurate as I'd like it, but we do get the ball landing pretty close to where we aimed it and rolling to the pin. Our final playoff hole on this tour is hole 7. I'm going to pause here because there are two ways to play it. You can come out here to the max distance of your club, of your sniper, and in that case I use 4 bars of backspin, and I like that one when it's possible because you have fewer bounces. It's a little easier to control the rollout when it's shorter and has extra tiered bounces. Okay, so 15% is for this one with 4 bars of backspin. Unfortunately, I only have a level 9 sniper. When you have a level 10, you get a couple extra yards, so it's a little easier to do. So with the level 9 sniper, I'm always coming up here to my this is my primary. I'm going to use this for everything. And so what I do is I put the white ring to the rough line, and I use 1 bar of top spin, and then I use the straight draw 10 to 1 rule to do adjustments based on that. So here we go. So white, edge of the white ring to the rough line, get it lined up, and I'm going to adjust just the number of bars. I'm doing 5.4 rings. It's a little more than 10% downhill, but we're in the medium distance of our club, so it kind of balances out. I'm curling just slightly to the right because of the straight draw 10 to 1 rule. And here we go. This is what we're looking for, a bounce right on the fringe. I got a little bit further down, but again, these bounces are hard to control when you play it this way. That's why if you have sniper level 10, anytime I don't have a headwind, I'll go ahead and I'll step on down to that second island fairway. I know it's not exactly an island, but that's what it plays like. And I'll go down there, and then if you do, make sure you add an extra 5% in the elevation because it's further down. So that's how I play the Grunberg Slopes tiebreaker holes with power 0 balls. Play free, have fun. This is Straight Draw, out.